This sort of personal growth or healing journey that we get onto can kind of sometimes feel like an infinite loop or a rabbit hole that you get deeper and deeper into. And I think there is a danger to becoming more and more and more self aware and the frustration of feeling like it doesn't do anything. It isn't changing anything. It's not moving the needle. In that liminal space between who you are and who you want to be is a very uncomfortable place. It's almost like waiting in the hallway from to open the next door, but you just can't seem to get through it. I spent probably hundreds and thousands of hours doing the work, both on my own and with others. I can pathologize myself to a T and know all my wounds deeply, yet there were so many moments of frustration where I just felt like I was getting in my own way and I didn't know how to get out of my own way. I've always felt a sense of deep, profound admiration for being here. And part of that is to experience everything that I can. So, taking care of my health, my body, my physical well being is something I'm very passionate about. I'm a certified personal trainer. I spend hours programming and updating my own workout routines. I try to eat as healthy as I can, hit my macros, and I've had a messy relationship with alcohol since I was in my early 20s. And this is hard because it feels like a part of me must be a fraud. How can these things, seemingly opposing each other, exist in the same person at the same time? We're going to together deep dive into why there's this dissonance and this disconnect or gap between having the self-awareness and being able to actually change, and that frustrating aspect that a lot of people are probably battling with, which prompts you to keep watching videos like this one or read books and feeling stuck perpetually. We're also going to talk about what actually is the thing that did it. But before I do, I want to tell you guys about this class I've been taking on Skillshare. It's the third class that I'm trying out on there, and because life gets really busy these days for me, I have to intentionally plan and schedule things that light me up. So I started taking Relight Your Spark, a 7-day creative retreat. It just felt right, the title intrigued me, and I did a little sneak peek preview, and the reviews said many great things. And I've already taken a class on writing and filmmaking, so I wanted to try something a little bit different. This is my way of continuously chasing what my current curiosity leads me to, which is always a fun journey, and also just adding a bit more creative juice and whimsy into my life, because otherwise it can get overlooked easily. Skillshare is the best place to learn a creative skill or pick up a new hobby, especially if you're looking to reconnect with your creativity. And Skillshare is where humans come to learn from other humans. And the first 500 people to either use my link down below or with the QR code right here will receive 1 month free of Skillshare. Here's why self-awareness or more and more self-awareness isn't moving the needle to actually change. Your nervous system has just one job: predict what's going to happen and prepare us for it. And it does this by pattern matching every experience you've ever had. For example, in the event that X happens, I did Y, or I resorted to Y. And our nervous system logged that as the pathway, the solution. Not consciously a decision, but an automatically logged event. So our patterns isn't a mindset problem per se, but a system prediction problem. Our nervous system got really, really good at running a particular set of responses, like running Y in the event of X, not because we're weak or we're broken, but it's actually running for efficiency. Our prefrontal cortex, the part of us that does read the self-help books or have the insights in therapy or learn and gather more knowledge about why we're the way we are. Jeez, that was a mouthful. That part of our brain is not the part that's running the automatic responses. Our entire ecosystem, our whole existence is optimized for survival while using the least amount of energy. And new behaviors, new mindsets, new anything cost more energy and is less energy efficient. So instead of thinking, oh gosh, like I have tried so hard, I cannot change. In fact, your body is doing a great job at running efficiently. But it is frustrating because consciously you want something different, yet the system, the prediction model, is saying, hey, let's do the thing that we've always known because it costs the least amount of fuel. The body keeps a score is obviously a book title, but also a phrase that gets thrown around a lot these days now. But what it actually means is that events from a previously unresolved experience creates and stores in our body as tension, contradiction, and activation. So a nervous system that got used to or grew up in instability and constant tension and anxiety doesn't automatically reset just because our mindsets have changed. It would be nice if the two systems worked more synchronistic in that way, but it does take more than just changing my mindset. Now my body is processing and choosing something different. But the solution, the real solution, happens when the body, or I don't want to say the body, it's the whole being, gets new experiences that starts to rewrite the old patterns. So, not when you understand the old experiences, but when you live through enough moments, different, new moments, that your body can register as safe. And let's update now to the new response, the new prediction model. It's a slow, incremental override. Kind of like that video of someone, with the glass full of wine, and then you run the faucet under, you run the water, oh my God. And then the water slowly replaces the wine, and then eventually the glass is completely clear. But it's a process. And this is why time and repetition is a huge part of the mechanism on actually embodying lasting change. Change that feels like your DNA got rewritten. Not because patience is a virtue, but because our nervous system needs enough new data points in order to feel safe enough to update that prediction model and start to automatically choose the new choice. Herein lies the problem. When we understand our patterns and we see them clearly, yet we still live inside of them and operate from them, the natural conclusion is something must be wrong with me. How can I know what to do and not do it? And it feels like either I'm not trying hard enough, or I'll never change, or I'm just self-sabotaging, or I have all these problems, etc., etc. But what's really actually happening is that the two just haven't caught up to each other. Your brain, your conscious brain, and our entire system lives on two different timelines. Your insight could pop up in a single session, a therapy session or coaching session, but the nervous system is going to take many, many new experiences, moments, however much time it needs before it feels safe enough to update and to catch up with your aha moment. Here's the truth. Standing or sitting where I am now, struggling after 2 decades of just wanting to get out of my own way, wanting to choose experiences and people and things that were genuinely better for me, that brought me closer to my dream version, my favorite version of myself. I didn't fix myself. I'm still not fixed. But because enough time has passed from the fresh-faced teenage version of me to now, standing at 35, I can now see in hindsight, I think I still have some self-sabotaging behaviors. And there are times that I don't know how to make sense with the contradictions or the paradoxes that exist within this one unit. But what's different is it doesn't feel like I'm at war with myself. And it feels like there's less of a clenching tightness and more spaciousness around all these different parts of me, all these different identities that can exist and coexist. There's a bit more space inside this home, if you will, for all the roommates to cohabitate. And the feelings of shame and embarrassment and guilt isn't as loud as they used to be. I am a hell of a lot more comfortable with facing uncertainty, and I quite frankly don't care at all if people like me or not. I mean, I do care about the opinions of people that matter to me, but I mean, like, on a whole, if I'm meeting a stranger, I don't really care. I'm still learning how to better relax and give myself the permission to just be, so that I don't feel that much of a need to teeter between hyper productivity and absolute checkout. But I have, over the last 2 decades, experienced enough moments that could have only come with time and putting myself in uncomfortable new scenarios and consciously choosing new actions, even if they felt uncomfortable at the time, to arrive someplace where I now feel that this home can withstand any weather. It doesn't mean that when there's a storm outside, the house won't shake a little bit, make a little creaky sounds, but it's safe in here. And I really like it here. And hasn't always been the case. So, what might that mean for you? One incredibly important thing is this: everything you're choosing to do differently for yourself, watching this video, reading books, listening to podcasts, every little thing matters. There's going to be plenty of times when it feels like you're not moving the needle, like nothing you do is actually making an impact. And trust me, after 20 years, let me just say, every little thing is helping moving the needle. You just can't see the results in real time. It's not getting updated in that way. And in the meantime, if you are on this journey, take stock of all the growth and change that has happened. When you become self aware, you start to have more and more goalposts that you tend to chase. It's like, well, now I've seen this part about me and I'm working on this. So, what's the next thing I can work on? As if you are just this revolving project. But what often happens is that then it feels like you never quite arrive or land at a place. Instead, you're just like chasing this moving target. And what it happens is actually repeating or perpetuate this pattern of feeling like I'm not enough or I'm not good enough, which is, as you probably know, not a good place to start. We sometimes forget that because this version of us still feels like there's so much work to be done, that the version of us from 5 years or 10 years ago would have been so proud and in awe of this current version. But it's so easy to forget because you no longer experience yourself in the past, and all you can see is the future that you are trying to chase and to catch up to. It's okay to map out and pinpoint every wound that you have to understand yourself. But then at a certain point, it can become harmful because then you're just continuously looking for all the things that are wrong with you. And you get into this habit of seeking for those imperfections. You've learned that this is how you can feel in control and safe. So there comes a point where you're self aware enough. And then you have to actually go out into the real world to do the uncomfortable things, to get more data points for different experiences so that your whole system can get updated eventually. And it is going to be messy and it is complicated and it's allowed to be. The work that you've already done and the work that you continue to do, whether it's mental or having more new experiences out in the real world, at times it'll feel like band-aids, but they're all making meaningful impact. And kind of like the water wine glass analogy, it's slowly but surely making a difference. And I know how the frustration can feel and the impatience and just wanting to get to your destination. But it doesn't work like an overnight miracle. It can, probably, but most likely it won't. And the truest advice I could give from someone who feels like she's standing on a different island than where she was all those years ago is, number one, self-compassion is the key. And you can learn more about that. I have some videos on it, but self-compassion, it sounds like a platitude. It sounds like something people put in greeting cards or, whatever, but it's actually really truly the key that helped make a huge dent in my own journey. And the truth is there was never one magical idea or book or teacher or type of healing modality that fixed everything. There was not a single moment where I ascended and changed from that to this. Yet one day it just happened. And the way you realize is that if something similar happens and you don't feel the way you used to feel, you don't feel as anxious, you don't feel as much of a need to control, you're not beating yourself up for it. There's a lot just of that quiet spaciousness and kind of a delay in reaction or a pause. And you just realize you're just different and it snuck up on you. And especially if you've been feeling frustrated about that gap that you just can't seem to close, I hope hearing from someone that truly, truly understand what that feels like and how absolutely devastatingly frustrating it is It is all possible, it is all on its way, and everything you're doing, none of it are band-aids, they all matter. It just truly requires a ton of patience and even more grace with yourself. And remember, self-compassion is truly the only starting place that'll get you anywhere genuine and true and create change that is lasting. And I think that's it from me today. And I will see you in the next video.